Hello all and welcome to Wow Crochet, yet again for another tutorial. My name is Mary and in today's tutorial we'll be doing the Crochet Granny Circle. How cool is this? Or sometimes known as the Mandala. Okay, so we're going to be doing this particular piece here today and we will be using all the threads that we've been using over the past few tutorials when I've done my crochet solid granny square. The next one will be the crochet granny rectangle. So we will be using the same cotton that I've been using, same threads, and that's all I need to tell you about that. This is going to be part 2 series. This is part 1 of 2. Part 2 will be coming up very shortly, but thank you for watching and let's get ready. All the details will be in your next section. All right, so this is our piece. We're going to get started. Move that out the way. And don't forget we're using all our threads that we've been using over the past few tutorials. Okay, let's hope we have enough. Okay, today you will need to have your crochet hook, whatever size the cotton calls for. It does call for a 4. I've been using a 4.5. For consistency's sake, I'm going to stick with it. I don't like to use a 4.5 for solid stitches, but this is an open one, so it's going to look all right. Okay, you will need your scissors, trusty scissors, and yes, you will have to do this. Weave in those pesky ends or darn or whatever you want to call it. Okay, we are going to get started. I'm using a little bit of leftover thread from one colour and I'm hoping to play yarn chicken with it and I'm hoping I win. Okay, for this tutorial you will need to know how to do chain, double crochet, slip stitch and a quick slip knot at the beginning. If you are unaware of these particular stitches, go back to my previous tutorials. You'll find them way at the very bottom because I've done so many since then. Have a bit of a practice, come back to us. I'll try and go as slowly as I can and still be paced enough for the regulars to move up. All right, so we're going to start off with a quick slip knot. So it's, oops, that's yarn over once and yarn over twice. Hold it there, pop your thread halfway over, pop the other thread all the way over and pop your hook in there. All right, give it a tug. Actually, you know what, I'm going to do that again because it's not long enough. I need it longer. Okay, and let's hope with yarn chicken I don't run out at the end. Okay, all right, there we go. That's much better because what I do is I crochet over that little thread and I also weave it in as well, so I've got double the power and it doesn't come undone. Okay, we are going to start off by chaining 6. Chain is yarn over hook, pull through that loop, 1, yarn over hook, pull through the loop, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. All right, then we are going to slip stitch. This is where I need to bring that camera right up so you can see. We are going to slip stitch into that very first chain we made, which is right there. Okay, through both loops or one loop, whichever pleases you. It doesn't matter as long as you've slip stitched in. Okay, so you've pulled it through the 2 loops and you've pulled it through the other loop on your hook. Now you chain up 3, 1, 2, 3. Now that will classify as a normal double crochet in this round. Okay, you're going to put a double crochet in there, so it's, whoops, take that off the hook for a second. It's yarn over hook, put it through your chain space, yarn over hook, pull up a loop, yarn over hook, pull through 2, yarn over hook, pull through the last 2. So that's a double crochet. Okay, we're going to do another one, yarn over hook, pop it through, yarn over hook, pull up a loop, yarn over hook, pull through 2, yarn over hook, pull through the last 2. So now you officially have 1, 2 and those chains make it 3. So now we're going to chain 1. Oh, I'm worried about my thread and playing yarn chicken, I really am. Okay, for those of you who are experienced will understand the word yarn chicken. Okay, so we are going to put, this is classified as a cluster set, so we're going to put another cluster set in here. So that's a set of 3. 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, 3 double crochets, and chain 1. So you've got 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, chain 1. So that's 2 sets already. We need to put 6 altogether in this ring, if that helps you move on, okay, for those of you who are in a hurry to move on. So let's go ahead with our next cluster set. 1, 2, 3, and don't forget chain 1. It's very important to chain 1 through these because this is your foundation row. If you don't chain your 1, you are going to be out of shape, so your circle will not be a circle, okay. And we'll do another set in there. 1, 2, and 3, okay. Chain 1. So you've got 1 set, 2 sets, 3 sets, and 4 sets. So we need another 2 more in here. So you do 1, 2, and 3. Don't forget your chain 1. One more set, the very last one. 1, 2, and 3. And what we're going to do, I know I said one more set, we are still going to count chain 1 and leave it there. And we're going to count because it's always important that first round. So there's your first set, 1. There's your second set, 2. There's your third set, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right. Don't forget, did you chain your 1 there? Because that's important too. Oh, I put that in wrong. Let's try that again. No, I put it in right. Okay. Now, 1, 2, and 3. You pop your hook in that third chain from the hook. Okay. From the hook, from your first double crochet. Okay. Or set of chains, I should say. Now pull a loop through. Pull it through that one. And pull up a loop. We are going to change our colour, because I think that next colour, oh, by the way, speaking of yarn chicken, let me show you what I have left. That's it. All right. The next colour is orange. Okay, so we are going to use the orange. Okay. All right. So now with the next colour, okay, so see that thread there? After, I'm going to weave it in as well, so it's double the amount of security. Okay, with your next piece, what are we doing next? We are doing doubles, chains, and then doubles. Okay, we got that under control. Okay, so for those of you who know me well would know that I don't like to start where there is an end. So I'll start 4 ends back. So it's 1, 2, 3. On this case 3 because it's halfway. We'll go halfway. So there's an end on that side and there's an end on that side. The next round, at the end we'll weave in all those ends, but the next round I might show you how to weave in the end before the next round. Okay, that way you know how to do it before and you know how to do it at the end. All right, so let's just get on with it for now. We are going to put put a loop right through. So you've put it in any chain space you made, not between any double crochet, but any chain space. Okay. Now you just pass that thread over here and hold it. What it does is it locks it in place. It's like tying it in a knot. So you're chaining up 3 again. 1. Oh, it's a bit far away now, isn't it? Sorry, guys. 2, 3. Now this row, we're going to put double cluster set in here in each space. So you've got a chain up 3. You're going to put 2 more double crochets. 1, 2, or I should say 2 double crochets. That first one will be classified as a double crochet. Okay. Yes, that's what we're doing. then we're doing another 3 in there. So first we chain 1 and then we do another 3 in there. I had to look at the pattern, sorry guys. It's not something I do every day, these patterns. And I'm actually crocheting over that thread, you know, that loose thread we started. I'm crocheting over it still. 2 and 3. My thread is pulling on me. Okay, and 3. And also, we are going to put a chain in there, and we're going to put a chain after every set. So really, we're putting a chain after every set, but we're just putting 2 sets in each of these spaces. Okay, so chain 1, double crochet 3 times in this chain space, or next chain space, I should say. Okay. Chain 1 again and put another set in there. Okay, and I'll show you what we're doing once we're finished with this one here. 2 and 3, and then chain 1 again. So you can see what we're doing. We are putting a set of double crochets or a cluster set, chain 1, cluster set in the first chain space, chain 1, cluster set, chain 1, cluster set in the second. We're going to do the same with all the chain spaces. Another double set in there, another double set in there. Actually, we might just keep going, and the next round we'll cut it short because I want to show you how to crochet over that end right there. Okay, so we are going to put another cluster set in here. Don't forget you chained 1, really important. Miss those chains and your circle will become oblong. Will be out of shape. We'll miss those chains, yeah. 3 double crochets, chain 1, and then 3 double crochets in the same chain space. As you can see, I'm speeding it up a little bit, only because I don't want you waiting around for me. If you know what you're doing, you can speed ahead. Don't forget to chain 1 between each set. Now, here's that thread right there. What we're going to do, there's your chain space. We're going to pull it with our fingers over. See, initially, I'll show you in the next round how to sew that in or weave it in to there and back to there a few times, and then you can just crochet over it without worrying about it. But if you don't like doing that, just pull the end with your other hand over there and crochet over the end like that. So you're putting your normal 3 double crochets in there. You only have to hold it for the first one, and then after that it's already tucked in. So that's where the end is, right there. Whoops, right there. Out of frame there, sorry about that. All right, so we are going to put another 2 double crochets in that space, like that, chain 1, and then put another 3 double crochets into that space. And I will show you where we are at. Oh no, you don't need to, we'll just finish off the rest of the round. There's only 2 left, I think. Chain 1, oh no, I've just done 2, I need 3. Oops. See, even I can make mistakes. So I keep telling people I think in every tutorial, yours truly is not a robot. I make mistakes. Okay, so we are going to put a cluster set in there or double cluster set in there. So don't forget your chain 1s in between. 2, 3, and chain 1. And another set in there. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and another chain 1. Now we're going to that very last set there, and we do our double cluster set. 1, 2, 3, chain 1. Hold it right there for a minute and let's have a look at what you've got. Oh, no, I need to do another set, don't I? Nearly. See, we would have been out of shape, wouldn't we? Another set of 3 double crochets in that same space. 2 and 3. We're not going to slip stitch yet. I just want to show you what you have so far to make sure we both are in sync. Okay? So you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay? You should have 6 there. Okay, and you should have a chain space between each. Inside, in the middle there, whoops, in the middle and a chain space between each break. Okay, easy. Now we are going to slip stitch in here. So you count up 3, 1, 2 and 3 in there. I made a mistake there. That's the slip stitch we need to be in. Oh, I keep splitting that yarn. Dear me. There we go. So we pull that through, pull up a loop, and we're going to cut this thread because we're going to change colour yet again. Okay, but now before we do, I'm going to show you how to weave in an end before you change colour. Okay, now for those of you who are new to crochet, the way you're crocheting this way, where is it? The way you're crocheting that way is the right way. That is the wrong way. And the way I notice it, I always end up with the threads at the back. I always pull the threads back when I'm working. Okay, and that way I know that's the wrong way and that's the right way. And there are occasions in certain projects that you can't tell the difference between the right and wrong way. So instead of weaving in all your ends at the same time, just leave one end at the back so you know where the wrong way is. Okay, that's how I work it out. Now I'm going to show you how to weave in this one end. Okay, you can thread your needles the way you like. I do it this way. It doesn't matter how you do it. It's whatever's comfortable for you. Now that's the right side, so I don't want to use that side. So I've got to turn it back. Oops, and work through the back way. Now, while I'm working through the back way, I have to find a little, because we're going to be crocheting over that gap. So you kind of need to do your sums before you start. You have to remember that that's going to be crocheted over. So don't weave it in up here and leave it here on the edge or something, because people will notice it. If you want, you can weave it in right into there, because that'll be crocheted over. You can weave it right across and weave it in there up and down a few times. But I just leave it right here. Okay, so there's your front. Now find a space that you want to put it in. Because you've made your chain there, you are better off putting it in that chain space. From the bottom or through the top, whichever pleases you, it doesn't matter, but pull it through to the back. All right, now it doesn't matter if there's a little lump there, you're going to crochet over that, so no one's going to see that lump. All right, now what you need to do is split the yarn a little bit up and down a few times. See that? Split the yarn. Don't just sew it in. Split that yarn. And of course, when you go backward and forward a few times, oh, I might get a nice close up there. Sorry about that. When you go backward and forward a few times, put it in a different place, obviously, otherwise it'll unravel. Where am I? I'm there. It's a little bit tricky. That's why it is easier to crochet at the end of the row. So you notice how I've split that yarn a little bit? And don't panic if you see that little thread sticking up. That'll be crocheted over. You won't see it. See, already it's starting to go down that little thread. All right, that's the way to do it if you're not wanting to wait till the end like these ones here. Okay, oops, sorry, these ones here. We're going to do those at the end, all right? So that's enough. You only needed to go up and back a few times. Okay, we'll cut the thread there. And you're going to crochet over that. That will never come undone, okay? So it almost, if you bring it out, it almost looks like the rest of them, doesn't it? And because you're going to crochet over that, no one's going to notice it, okay? So it's not that bad. Now, which colour do we need next? I cannot remember. We use the navy blue. So we're going to use the navy blue. I'm going to keep in sync because I might use these pieces for something interesting, and I'll let you know about what that will be in about a few weeks' time. Why? Because I'm cheeky like that. Okay, now we are going to, once again, start on an area where there are no ends. Now, I can't remember where there it is. There's the orange end, but we'll start from, we'll just start from here. Just depending on the pattern, I'll have a quick look at the pattern where it needs us to start. Oh, beautiful. This part of the pattern is the easy bit. And when I came to this part of the pattern, I thought, oh, thank God, it's something I know. Okay, so what you do with this part of the pattern, you pop your hook in any chain space you want, okay? Now, you bring up a loop with your yarn. Don't forget to bring that forward just for the moment, so you can lock it into place. Chain up 3, 1, 2, 3. You're going to love this round. Okay, it's so easy. And you do a normal double crochet in that space as well, and another one. So you're just doing your normal cluster set there. All right, bring that thread back again. You've locked it in place. Now chain 1, and guess what? Just come to the next chain space and do exactly the same thing. This is the easiest round of the whole project, I think. I mean, I'm sure you might find some of the other rounds easy, but this one is one of the easiest. Okay, I think what I might do with this piece, I might do this tutorial in 2 parts. And it's only because it's taking a very long time. Okay, so we chain 1 and we do another one, another set. See how easy this row is? I'm loving it, I'm loving it, I'm loving it. We'll do another one there. We'll chain 1 and let's have a look at it and you can see where we're at. So that's all you need to do. One cluster set, chain 1, cluster set, chain 1 in every chain space you come to, not just up the top, in every chain space. Okay? All right, continue that and we'll meet you up. All right, I didn't go all the way because I wanted to show you that little, remember that little bit that we sewed in together? I wanted to show you what it's like. We're going to chain 1, don't forget that, Mary. We're going to put our triples or our cluster set in there. So 1, and all we're doing is crocheting over that thickness. 2 and 3. There you go. And not even noticed. All right. Okay. Chain 1. I'll show you when we lay it down. You won't be able to see it at all. 1. Oops. We might bring this out a little bit. It's too close now, isn't it? There we go. 2 and 3. Chain 1 and then 1, 2, 3. Chain 1. Now we are going to slip stitch at the top of that. I know the navy blue is a bit hard to see. I'll bring it up a little bit. At the very top chain, that third chain that we always do. We should be experienced at that now because that's what we usually do. There you go, slip stitch it through, pull up a loop, cut it, and let's have a look at our piece, what we have so far. All right, so what you should have is a cluster set, chain 1, cluster set, chain 1, cluster set, chain 1, all the way through. You should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. If you do not have 12, then you need to go back and check out what you have done wrong or where you've gone wrong. Okay, and there's that little stitch right there. You can see it for now, but after, when you do the next row and your next row, you won't see that. Okay, and if you want, you can actually leave these till the end. I'll show you at the end how to weave in after you've finished. I think this will be a 2-part tutorial, the way I'm looking. We're not even halfway through. So this is the first, second, third round. We're going to go on to the 4th round now, and then we'll do a 2-part tutorial after that, or maybe one more. Okay, what's the next colour? It is the grey kind of, the ghost kind of colour. Okay, all right. Okay, there's an end where we don't have a thread. One little spot where you don't have a thread, pop it in, pull up a loop, bring that up a little bit so you can see. Okay, all right. So now we are passing that thread, the loose one, over there again, just so we can lock it in place, remember? Chain up 3, 1, 2, and 3. Then you're going to put 2 double crochets in there, as we've been doing all along. You will always be doing a cluster set. May not always be 3, but you'll always do a cluster set in each space. Okay, so there is 3. You pass that thread at the back. Now this row, it's different again. You chain 2, 1, 2, okay? Then you do a cluster set in the next, the next chain space, which is 1, 2, 3. Now you chain 3. So chain 2, chain 3. 1, 2, 3. This is where it's going to get tricky. Don't forget to do the right chains in the right spot. So you do your normal cluster set here. That's 3 of the double crochets. There. Now, this is what we did. We chained 2, then we chained 3. Now we chain 2. 3, 2, 3, 2, 3. All the way around to get to there, that last space, and I will meet you up. So it's chain 2, chain 3, chain 2. Go for it. Okay, when you get to the end of this row, you should be up to the part, because remember how we started with these 3 double crochets and then we chained 2, and then we chained 3, and then we chained 2, 3, 2, and so on. You should be up to the chain 3 because you've done your 2 there and your 3 there. So really you should have a chain 3 here. If you haven't and you didn't get up to that, check where you've gone wrong, okay? So it's 1, 2, 3, and I'll show you once we finish this section here, and you're slip stitching into the top of that 3rd chain as we've been doing all the way through our project. And don't forget to loop your yarn first before you cut it. Okay, this is what you should have. We'll move that out the way. We don't need that anymore. We don't need the orange anymore. Okay, this is what you should have. Okay, it should feel flat. Shouldn't, if it's tight over here and loose there, you've done something wrong. If it's a little bit tight in one section, a little bit loose, it's just a bit of tension. But it should be flat. It shouldn't be lifting and bubbly and all that sort of stuff. Okay, now this next row, I can't remember the colour of the next row. It is red, my favourite colour. Okay, the lovely red. Okay, all right. And I call this the 80s red too, because it's sort of a dark red. The lighting in here doesn't do it justice, but it's a very nice red. Okay, so this next round, a little bit different yet again. Okay, so we're going to do this next round. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll do the next round and then we'll call it quits on this particular tutorial and come back and do part 2 another time, because it's taking up a lot of time. I know we're being very chatty here. Okay, this next round is a very interesting round, and get ready for it. All right, now, okay, remember our chain spaces. Okay, you may, if you're not experienced, you may not tell the difference between a 3 chain space and a 2 chain space. Okay, if you can't, just start off where you left, because you know that's definitely 3 chains. Okay, but for me, I want to start in an area where there's no threads, so I'm going to choose another 3 chain space. Okay, that's a 3, that's a 2, and that's a 3. Okay, and if you want to be able to tell, it's like this. Let me get a close up and I'll show you. 1, 2, 3. It's the V's. This one here only has 1 and 2. So start in a 3 chain space, pop your hook in, and do what we've been doing in every round. Pull up a loop with your new colour, get that thread and pass it over. Okay, now we chain up 3. 1, 2, 3. Now this round is very different, so we're going to put another 2 double crochets in there. That part is the same. Okay, so you've got your 3. All right, now we chain 1 and we put another cluster set in the same space. 2, 3. Okay, now this is the important step to try and remember. Okay, bring that loop at the back. Now we chain 2, 1 and 2, and in the next space we only do 1 cluster set. I know it's tricky. Oh, I didn't do it in the space, did I? I did it in a stitch by mistake. Dearie me. Okay, there we go. Oops, get rid of that thread at the back. And we do 3. And I'll do another set to show you, and then you can go away and do it yourself. Okay, 2 and 3. Oh, my thread is pulling, it's tagging. Okay, now we chain 2 again, 1 and 2. Now remember, this is the the 3 chain space. We are going to put a double cluster set in there. So it's 1, 2, let's go a little bit faster, 3, and then we chain 1, and then we put another set in there. Now I'll show you in a minute what to do. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1 and 2 at the end. All right, so this is what you're going to do for this round. You are going to, oh, too far out, sorry. You are going to, in the 3 chain spaces, you are going to put a cluster, chain 1, cluster, then chain 2. And in a 2 chain space, you're just going to put a cluster, chain 2, cluster, chain 1, cluster. Okay, so just that's all you need to remember. If you want to see the full round in its entirety, just keep going back through this set here and do that set again there and that set again there. But otherwise, 2 cluster set with a chain, 2 chains, 1 cluster set, 2 chains, 2 cluster set with a chain, 2 chains, and so on. Okay, and I'll meet you up. All right, here we are at the end of this row. And this is what you should have before we slip stitch it together. You should have your double set, your single set, double, single, double, single, double, single, double, single, double. You should have chain 1 in each double, and you should have chain 2 between each set. Okay? And that's where you should have. If you're not that way and it hasn't turned out flat, then you need to check out where you went wrong. Okay, if not, let's continue chaining 1 and 2 before we slip stitch it onto that 3rd chain, wherever that 3rd chain is, just right there. Oh, nice tight stitching I've got. Okay, and we pull up a loop. Okay, all right, what I'm going to do is call it quits with this particular tutorial now. We are going to call this part 1, okay? But before we do, we're going to weave in an end. Don't forget to click like on this tutorial if you liked it, people, and subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can get further tutorials, and also so that you can receive the next tutorial coming up. Okay, let's see, we're trying to find one without a lump on it. I've got a little lump on it because it's what I use to wind up. Okay, on my machine, winding machine, which I'll show you one day. Okay, now we are going to just find a thread, pull it through. All right, any thread you want, and this is probably a better way of doing it than it is the other way. So what you're going to do is, see how we've already crocheted over that 1 thread? We are going to, and this is what I mean by splitting the yarn, remember to check your work first before you do this particular weaving, because once you split that yarn, that's not going to come undone. You literally have to cut it out to get it undone. So if you've made any mistakes, fix them up before you start weaving. Okay, so see that little thread there, how, see if I can find it nice and close up for you. See how I've done that? See how I've split it? Then after I've split it, I pop it through that space there and pull it through. And I forgot to mention, once I'm doing it, so that you don't make that mistake, I'll split the first one we get to and pop it through. Just make sure you can't see the needle on this side. If you can see the needle on this side, you need to redo it before you pull it through, or you will see the thread over the blue. Okay, and that's it. You've already crocheted over it once. So you've weaved over it the second time, or weaved it the second time and weaved in the third time, and that's your 3 times. And it's probably easier to do it that way than to do it the way I showed you before with the orange. See if you can still see that orange a little bit there. It will sort itself out, don't worry. That will sort itself out. So this is the end of part 1 of this tutorial. We'll go away, have a bit of a break, and then come back to part 2. So thanks very much for watching, and I'm hoping you're enjoying yourself through these tutorials, and all I want to say for now is ciao for now.